Do you want to dominate the battlefield in Bannerlord? In this video, I'm going to show you a couple of combat tips that are going to help you do just that. Tip number 1 is Shield Bash. You can use the Shield Bash to interrupt enemy attacks and create openings. In order to perform a Shield Bash, you're going to need to hold the block button. On PC, this is the right mouse button, and then press E at the same time in order to perform that Shield Bash. Tip number 2 is Kick. You can kick to stagger opponents and break their guard. In order to perform a kick, all you have to do is press E. Tip number 3 is Couch Lance. You can couch your lance for devastating charges. In order to couch your lance, you're going to need to gain some speed on your horse, and then once you gain speed, you'll see the icon appear in the bottom right, and then that is when you're going to press X to couch your lance. Tip number 4 is strafing on horseback. You can strafe to avoid incoming attacks and position yourself better. In order to strafe on horseback, what you're going to need to do is hold E and D at the same time to strafe to the right, and then E and A at the same time to strafe to the left. Tip number 5 is speed up or slow down your horse quickly. In order to speed your horse up, you're going to double tap W, and this will make your character strike the reins, and the horse will go faster. You can also do this while you're riding. And then in order to slow the horse down quickly, you're going to double tap S, and this will make the horse stop much faster than just holding S. Tip number 6 is dismount easily. So when you first start the game, you're probably looking down at the horse and pressing F to dismount. Don't do that. Instead, just hold Z, and this will automatically dismount you from your horse without having to look at it. This tip is really useful for switching to ground combat quickly. Tip number 7 is to brace your pike. Now, similar to couching a lance, the brace allows you to counter cavalry charges from the ground. In order to brace your pike, you're going to press X, and you'll see your character point the pike towards the air a little bit. And then in order to do this while moving, you can press the caps lock button to initiate walk mode, and then press X to brace your pike. And then you can slow walk with the pike braced left or right. Tip number 8 is feinting attacks. You can use feints to confuse opponents and break their defense. In order to perform a feint in Bannerlord, what we're going to need to do is strike from one direction, and in the middle of that attack, press the block button, and that will stop the attack, and the opponent will likely block from the direction that you initially attacked, and then you can strike from the opposite direction to hit them. Tip number 9 is to switch between weapon modes. This can only be done with certain weapons, so the javelin that I have can be thrown or it can be used as a one-handed weapon, and then some weapons are two-handed, but they can be used as a one-handed weapon with a shield, so just make sure that you have the correct weapon. But in order to switch weapon modes, all you're going to do is press X, and then it does a little animation, and you can see your character switch from thrown to one-handed or two-handed to one-handed. Our final tip is chambering. Chambering counters an enemy attack with your own attack from the same direction at the same time. This takes some time to master, but once you do, it's well worth it. With these tips, you'll be unstoppable on the battlefield. Like, share, and subscribe for more Bannerlord guides.